Hey guys, welcome back to Chris and Retro. Uh, Tonight's video is going to be talking about the value of a day. And I was in a meeting tonight that just kind of hearing some of the feedback and some of the things that people were talking about. It really just struck me about how different a day looks for us depending on where we are in life. Um, I can, as, as we go through our recovery process of addiction, or we go through any season in life, you know, the day has some substantial elements to it. And one of the things is like, we hear a lot of motivation around carpe diem, seize the day, take every advantage you can of today. This whole, conquering victorious claim about one day. It doesn't say seize your life. It says seize the day. And then I'm basically doing everything you possibly can do to conquer your mission today or whatever objectives you have today. When we're in addiction, and I'm trying to make this point impactful without trying to figure out what way I organize this. But, when I'm in addiction, one of the things I find to be a tremendous struggle is the initial phases of getting out of it. One day when you're in addiction turns into another day, turns into another day. And basically it's just one big day. It just blends. There's really no cutoff to when your day stops and no start to when your day starts. And it's just all one big day. And so there has to be a substantial mile marker so that you're actually accomplishing something. Otherwise, you just blend in a bunch of days and waste your life away in your substance because you're just washed in this substance. So that's one element of the day when you're using. But then there's those initial stages when you're coming beyond your addiction. And my God, is a day a long time. I can recall that, can I make it till 10 o'clock? Because I was obsessed over the fact that I knew at 9 o'clock the liquor store is open and I was out. There was some, I think I mentioned in one of the videos, somebody was talking about having a 175 of vodka and really starting to feel that depression. I did mention it in one of the videos about the depression that's coming on as that bottle starts to empty and everything's closed. I mean, it's a real psychological war. So now imagine you're in a situation where you've had that go on through the night where you always were stressing about running out. And now all of a sudden you're getting up in the morning with nothing and sort of committed to not ever drinking. And now you got to make it till 10 o'clock. And your obsession, we've already been knowing when all the liquor stores open and close, so you're already on that clock. Same thing with other uses too. You got certain neighborhoods and certain things you need. And when you start to get a certain amount of money, it's triggering, or you go by certain roads, it's just all very triggering. And so you got to move to that 10 o'clock hour. And then I create a call, make it okay. If I can make it to 2 o'clock, I'll be okay. And then if I can make it to 4 o'clock, I'll be okay. How about after dinner? Well, if I can make it till the liquor store is closed, then I'm kind of toast and I can't do anything about it. But what if I just go get something from a convenience store that might not be my first choice, but at least it's alcohol? And I always give myself that out that I'm going to force myself through the liquor, but at least I have a fallback plan. And then as I started to get better, I was able to, let me just make it till I go to sleep and go to sleep. And then I'll get up tomorrow and make a new decision tomorrow. And then as the days would go on, I'd have multiple single day periods that tied together. And then we start counting years, which leads me to the next point. Is then as we become more seasoned in our sobriety and people start getting their 1 year and 2 year and 5 year and 6 year and 50 year, one day has lost all consequence because we're measuring years. If you even look at early on recovery, probably up to 2 years is what I've noticed is people count months because they want to have these victorious moments and 1 year isn't there for them. So they want to have a victory in a month and a victory in 6 months and a victory in 2 years, victory in 18 months, 19 months, 19 months in a day, depending on whether they're struggling or not. But the days and the value of that one single day has lost its bite. It was such a struggle at one point. It was such a blend of all days being one. And then the other side of recovery, we make all the single days not as much as important as having milestones like years. Now, I'm not suggesting that years aren't really worthwhile, but your recovery journey is all of those days combined. And I would argue my obligation as we look at the serenity prayer saying, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I can't change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's about ownership, changing, doing the things that you have ownership over and what you know for sure you have responsibility for. And that can only really be handled today because tomorrow is going to be what it's going to be. Yesterday's already gone. Today, I have to do every single thing. So with us, it's not just focusing on, oh my God, can I stay sober today? It's about knowing that I have obligations today that within this one day, this 24-hour period, I'm no longer counting when the liquor stores open and close. I'm no longer pushing myself to try to survive one more hour without my substance in me. Now what I need to do is make sure that every single hour I don't waste, because I probably wasted years of my life if I was, as many of us, a very serious addict. So in that time, I have no time to waste. So how valuable is one day? So that anybody out there, that if you put together a day, congratulations. Because really that's what it all boils down to anyway. As soon as we start focusing too much on years, we waste all of the time between now and that next year milestone, looking past all the victory that's there for us, all the fortification for the storms that will come, all the progress we can make for our dreams and our hopes to come alive, all the details that we should take care of so we never slip back, the responsibilities that we have to take on, the shortcomings that we have to overcome, the possibilities and the probabilities that we never really thought we were capable of in this 24 hours. What progress are you making towards that? Now in sales, a lot of times when I'm coaching my team, sometimes our sales objectives are not necessarily closing a deal. Sometimes it's getting the next appointment or moving the decision along a line. Very similar to our recovery journey. I don't have to be recovered, I don't have to get back every single thing. And in fact, it's impossible for me to try to strive for that in a 24-hour period. However, I do know there's a few things that are really important. And sometimes those are just my moral compass. And one of them for me is to be loyal to my family. The other thing is for me to stay sober and clean of all substances today. The other thing is to make sure that I actually make a promise and I do keep it. I have to make sure my mindset is set on longer term thinking that says, and that sounds counterintuitive, but it's not. Longer term thinking that says that for my life, I want to be a sober, productive, capable, purpose-driven man. But for me to ever have that life that I would strive for, I need to do that every single day. And those days, if I focus on the day, those built up become the life that I've always strived for. I've heard a lot of people talking and I hear their pain and I hear them just absorbed in their pain. And I've heard two individuals tonight that had a reoccurrence in their sober journey and have what they believe from an AA principle standpoint, they're back at zero, which I don't agree with at all. I think that they're at a point in their recovery that had that happen. It just happened. And so now what? Well, we could wallow or we could move forward today. Just as all the days forward don't mean squat until you get there, all the days backwards are nothing but lessons. They're things that we had to learn from so that we can do the very best we possibly can do today. I would say today the most important thing is that you remain sober. And everything else has the capability of falling in line. But take action, put a plan together, get around people. Don't force yourself into isolation and don't reject the support that's there. Find support that makes sense for you. Man, I've spent a lot of times trying to find AA meetings that really work for me, or meetings of any kind that work for me. I've tried all kinds of different ones. And then all of a sudden, lo and behold, I find an online one on accident 2 days ago that I'm loving. And it works very well for me, and the tone of it and the cadence of it and how it's communicated is just very welcoming. And for a personality like me, it's a little abrasive. It's not that old school, man, if you're 24 hours, you're a drunk. Like, I mean, I heard there was an old timer on there that was talking the way that old AA talks, and man, oh man, it's just not, I don't co-sign that because that's bullying. It's tough guy stuff. And to me, when people are getting in my face, that you're either going to get the fight or I'm just going to walk away from you because I just don't want to deal with it. I don't have time for it. So, find the groups that make sense for you. Find the groups that you can connect with that will help you through today. Remember where you're at and what a day is for you where you're at. When you're using, days blend together. When you're in early recovery, hours are painful, and one day is an astronomical accomplishment. Now, one day can have astronomical accomplishments. It can have things that you never dreamed were going to happen. Two components that you never want to lose sight of is the work that you've prescribed for yourself and that you will keep and do, those promises, and the spiritual component of your life that you need to align with, because without both pieces working in concert, you're going to fail. You don't have to believe what I believe. I believe what I believe, and I believe it works for me. And if somebody wanted to know what I have, you'd have to hear what I believe. And I do believe in God, and I believe that that's a massively important part of my recovery journey. For my home and for Sam and for others in my life, I hope for that for them, because I know the victory that has come from that relationship that I currently have. But it doesn't exonerate myself from the work. It's not just today. I hear about people say, well, I just got to do it just for today. No, take today, seize the day, but seize the day with things that are going to make this the most productive day possible, a clean and sober day for you, so that tomorrow has a jump off point that's better than what today's jump off point was. It really does layer on itself. It's not just a single day, but what you do today impacts tomorrow eventually. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Tonight's a little shorter video. I just thought this thing really hit me today relative to the different meanings of a day for me based on the different stages of life I've been in. I hope that resonates with you as well. If you're in a struggling situation right now where your sobriety, where you are using, your days are probably blending together. You probably have no start or stop to your day, and it really is based on where your substance intake is and what your resources are to get it. If you're struggling in that place, get some help. Find a way to get one day of that. Try to get yourself to the next gate of that, which means you're going to be counting hours for a day or two, or 4 actually in alcohol, and move beyond those days that struggle hour at a time. And then when you get beyond it, start taking hold of every single day that turns into years. But each day builds on each other so that you can have progress, purpose, and hope. It's what I hope for my family. We're definitely going through that right now. I'm not, again, one more time, I'm not preaching at you. I'm in the throes of it. The reason I've had so much conviction about this lately is because I'm in the throes of it. I'm relearning lessons. I'm going through a journey right now that I want to invest in my family and Sam and all of us to rise. And the lessons I'm learning are so impactful that I want to make sure that I share them with you as well. And hopefully they impact your life too. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you guys are learning and what it is that's working for you. Please use the comments to do that. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Like and subscribe. Share this with a friend if it's something you get benefit out of, and help me grow the channel so that our voice is heard together, because we really are fellow travelers. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Check out TikTok. I got a few new things out there for you. I probably put something else out by morning. Between now and the next time we talk, I'm going to do everything I possibly can do to stay out of trouble. I hope you do too.